You can meditate, visualize, affirm abundance every single day, and still wake up with the same overdrawn account. Because the problem is not the technique you are using. It is the old pattern you keep carrying into the future without realizing it. In this video, you are going to discover the 5 steps that actually transform your financial reality, according to Joe Dispenza. And if you are in this situation, doing everything in search of a life change, subscribe to the channel. I post 3 times a week for people who want to understand why they repeat the same pattern of scarcity, even when trying to get out of it. And leave a like so this video rises and reaches those who need it. You have already tried everything. Morning meditation, abundance affirmations, visualization of the balance you want to see in your account. And even so, when you open the statement, the same reality is there. The overdrawn account, the fear of investing, the consumption pattern you swear you will change, but always repeat. And the worst part is not the lack of results. The worst part is feeling that you are doing everything right, but something invisible keeps pulling you back to the same place. As if your entire body were programmed for scarcity, even when your mind tries to create abundance. Because the problem is not the technique you are using. The problem is that you are trying to run a new mental movie without first shutting down the old one. It is like installing new software on a computer full of viruses. No matter how good the program is, the system stays stuck. And the body loves to repeat what it already knows, even if it is bad, even if it is scarcity. Because familiar is safe. And as long as the thought pattern, the emotion, and the behavior keep running on autopilot from the past, your financial reality will keep reflecting exactly that. That is why Joe Dispenza structured a 5-step protocol, and the differential of this protocol is not just creating the future. It is destroying the biology of the past that is still piloting your body. And that is why the last step is the most powerful of all. The first 2 begin exactly where most people go wrong. The first step is to turn off the external stimulus of lack. And this does not mean becoming a hermit. It means creating short windows, 5 to 10 minutes a day, where you stop feeding your brain with the noise of scarcity. Because the problem is not just what you think. It is what enters your attention all the time. Phone showing crisis, feed full of people complaining about money, news talking about economic collapse. The brain repeats what you feed it. And if you spend the entire day consuming lack, the body will reproduce lack. Attention is reprogramming. When you create a space of internal silence, without the constant bombardment of fear and comparison, the brain finally manages to process something different from the survival pattern. Without this, you are trying to meditate abundance while the body receives a scarcity signal all day long. The second step is to choose the desired future. And here it is not repeating "I want abundance" on autopilot. It is declaring something specific. Like, I want to earn $10,000 a month. I want to invest in fixed income without freezing from fear. I want to accept that project that pays more, even though I think I do not deserve it. Choosing activates neuroplasticity. The brain stops running in the cycle of "I do not have" and starts mapping how to get there. But most people do not do this. They stay in the generic. And generic does not generate direction. It generates more anxiety. But these first 2 steps are still just the foundation. Turning off the noise and choosing the future is still not enough. The body needs to recognize that future is real. And that is where the next 2 steps come in. The third step is to teach the body to feel the emotion of the future. And here it is not visualizing the balance growing and pretending you are happy. It is truly feeling it. Joy, security, freedom. As if the money you want were already aligned with your life. Because emotion is the body's language. You can repeat 1,000 times "I am abundant," but if the body remains in a state of stress, high cortisol, constant fear, it does not believe. And what the body does not recognize as real, it rejects. Most people only visualize. They build the mental image of what they want, but feel nothing. And then it stays only in the head. The body does not change. The hormonal pattern does not change. And reality stays the same. So you need to train the body to recognize the emotional state of someone who already has what you want, not as fantasy, as real reprogramming. Because when the body feels it, it starts to act differently. The fourth step is to mentally rehearse the future behavior. And this is what separates those who manifest from those who only imagine. Because you are not training the universe. You are training the body not to reject the money when it starts to appear. Like you visualize growth, but when a real opportunity arises to raise your price, you freeze, you panic. You think you do not deserve it, and you return to the old pattern. This happens because the body never rehearsed that decision. It does not recognize it as safe. So you rehearse, mentally, seeing the statement grow, receiving the proposal, saying no to what does not fit the new level, accepting the bigger contract. All of this needs to be trained before it happens, because when the body has already been through it internally, it does not reject it when it comes for real. And up to here you already have 4 powerful steps, but there is a 5th one, and it is the deepest of all. And the 5th step, which you are going to see now, is what really changes the game. It is the deepest of all. And it was this step that pulled me out of the cycle of earning money and losing it, growing and sabotaging, moving forward and returning to the same pattern. That is why I created complete material about this. An ebook that details each of these 5 steps with the practical exercises I use, shows exactly how to identify the specific pattern you need to cut, and guides you in the day-to-day reconfiguration process without leaving it vague. The link is in the description and in the first pinned comment. Take a look, see if it makes sense for you. Now the 5th step, it is what differentiates those who truly change from those who only repeat techniques. The 5th step is to decide what you are not going to take into the future, and this is the deepest of all, because the first 4 create the new. But this one destroys the old, and it is the old that pulls you back. You choose the future, feel the emotion, rehearse the behavior. But if you do not consciously cut the scarcity pattern, the fear of earning more, the guilt of having money, the self-sabotage that appears when things start to improve, the body will repeat, because it loves what is familiar. Even if it is suffering, the body does not want change, it wants familiarity. And that is why a person receives a bonus, and instead of saving or investing, spends it in the same wrong way as always. That is why the entrepreneur grows, but returns to complaining about the system, sabotaging their own progress, returning to the circle of people who hold them back. Because the fear of changing is greater than the fear of being stagnant. The body recognizes scarcity as safe. It knows how to function there. And when you try to leave that pattern without destroying its biology, the body drags you back. So the 5th step is not about creating something new. It is about classifying what is old and deciding that it no longer represents you. That thought of I cannot. That emotion of I do not deserve. That behavior of refusing opportunity because you think you are not ready. All of this needs to be marked as a thing of the past. And this is what sustains change, because without cutting the biology of the past, you will apply the first 4 steps, you will improve for a while, and then you will return. You always return. Because the old pattern is still there, waiting to run again. But why exactly is this step so different from the others? Why does it change the game in a way the first 4 cannot do alone? Because the first 4 steps work on the present and the future. Turning off the noise creates space. Choosing the future gives direction. Feeling the emotion programs the body. Rehearsing the behavior prepares the action. But none of them cuts what is already engraved in the nervous system from the past. And that is where the problem is. You can do everything right in the first 4, but when money really starts to come in, the body recognizes it as a threat because it does not know it, and the unknown activates fear. So it sabotages, spends wrong, refuses opportunity, returns to what is familiar, even if familiar is scarcity. Most people change their internal discourse, but do not change their reaction pattern. So when the chance arises to charge more, the body freezes. When the invitation to grow appears, the mind invents an excuse. It is not lack of will. It is the old pattern running faster than the new one. And look at the difference. The first 4 build, the 5th destroys, and destroying the old is more important than building the new. Because if you do not remove what pulls you back, the body will repeat. No matter how many times you visualize, no matter how much you feel, the old pattern always wins. True alignment does not happen when you visualize something new. It happens when you stop repeating what drags you back. And that is why the 5th step sustains the quantum leap. Because without cutting the biology of the past, you improve temporarily, but then you return. You always return. So how do you start applying this for real? How do you transform this step into a practical routine? Most people cannot maintain the ritual because they try to do everything at once. Then it becomes a burden. But the secret is to start simple. 10 to 15 minutes a day, focused on one thing only, identifying the old pattern you still carry and deciding it is not going into the future. You turn off the phone. Sit in a place without noise. Quickly go through the first 4 steps. Cut the stimulus of lack, choose the financial future, feel it in the body, rehearse the behavior. And then you go to the 5th. And this is where you dedicate most of the time. Identify a specific pattern. It can be the thought I cannot. It can be the fear of charging more. It can be the guilt of having money. Whatever it is, you mark it as a thing of the past, and you consciously decide you are not taking it. If it helps, write it down. Write, "This no longer represents me," because when you record it, the brain understands that it became conscious. And what is conscious can be changed. This is what pulled me out of the cycle of growing and sabotaging. I recognized the pattern the moment it appeared, marked it as old, and continued with the decision of the future. Like I felt fear when raising the price, identified it as biology of the past, and continued. The decision came before the emotion stopped screaming. And the more you do this, the more the body recognizes that the old pattern no longer commands. It can appear, but it does not decide. And that is when change becomes structural. And if you want an even deeper path to reconfigure your internal identity and unlock your abundance for real, the link to the complete material is in the description. If you apply at least the 5th step of what I showed you here, you already have the protocol that differentiates those who change temporarily from those who truly change. Because most people try to create the future without destroying the past. And now you know that the power is exactly in cutting what drags you back. And if you want to take the next step with the complete material that shows you how to apply this in practice every day with the exercises I use to track each pattern that appears, and with the reconfiguration plan that transforms this into real financial decision, not just mental technique, the ebook is available. The link is in the description and in the first pinned comment. Tell me in the comments, what is the pattern from the past you identified that still pulls you back? Subscribe to the channel because in the next videos I will continue dismantling these invisible financial blocks, always in a direct way without beating around the bush. And if you know someone who meditates, affirms, visualizes, but remains financially stuck, send them this video. Because the problem is not the person, it is the protocol. See you in the next one.